Okay, perfect. We're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Yadiksha, as you know. And as promised, I introduced this beautiful topic, Too Busy to Be Healthy. And I have a guest speaker, Sujatha Din. But a little bit about myself. I am a guide, teacher, and healer in the Modern Mystery School. And having a healthy diet to me has been one of my um, biggest goals that I wanted to achieve for myself. And following my recent article that was published, I really thought it would be so good to be live on Facebook to help others that are trying to overcome the same kind of issues and the same kind of beliefs that we all have. And everybody's journey is different. So I hope you can take from myself and Sujatha whatever it is that you need to be able to live your life and know your body. Because if we are awakened and we're able to know what serves us in terms of eating and putting the right things into our body, which we know is a holy temple, it's a vessel that we have that's very sacred. So, welcome, Sujatha. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself, yeah, so welcome.
Thank you very much, Adiksha. So I am a health coach. I'm also a cancer coach. I'm a qualified personal trainer. And I started my own health journey almost 10, 11 years ago it's been. And I think like many people who might be watching this today, who think we're eating healthily, I thought I was being healthy, but it was really getting to my own low points on my own health journey that made me realize I needed to make some changes. So I'm a qualified accountant. I'm a chartered accountant. I used to work as an auditor for many years, and then I took some time out to look after my children. And it was many years in coming. I think you notice these imbalances over time. It doesn't happen, overnight, but it happens overnight. And often what we're doing is we're ignoring these signals that our body is giving us that it's going out of balance. And I had started going out of balance a long time prior to even me embarking on my health journey. So I felt low in energy, hormonal imbalances, digestion was a mess, skin was a mess, immunity was really poor. I would be sick all the time. I'd be taking antibiotics frequently, was on steroids often as well. So it was a bumpy ride, and it got to a point for me that I needed to improve my own health. And that's why I decided it was time to make a change. And that's how I started actually becoming more interested in nutrition, because I was trying to improve my own health. Maybe some of you watching today are thinking, I'm healthy, but there's a few things going wrong. Some things are out of balance. One thing I can say is if you notice it, do something about it. Don't leave it until it becomes bigger. And in hindsight, I just kept ignoring things because I didn't think it was important enough. And it just snowballs and gets to a point where even walking becomes difficult. And that's where I was, where walking became difficult for me. So that's how I started my own health journey. And rather than spending hours searching on the internet for one quick fix, which we all do, I did that
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
You might be here for different reasons watching this video. So, I was searching the internet. I was trying to look for this quick fix to boost my immunity, to get healthier, to not be sick anymore. And I realized that there was no one quick fix. I needed to make fundamental changes. So it was about many things coming together, slowing down, improving my diet, improving my lifestyle, and improving my mindset. So, and that's how I embarked on my journey as a health coach. So it was to actually first heal and build my own body.
That is so inspiring. I think we all realize in this time and age, especially during this COVID pandemic, that we really need to look after our health. And everything is a balance, because if we have a good healthy body, we have a good immune system as well, which you pointed out. My first question to you is, why is eating healthily so important today? And this is coming from your point of view as the health coach.
So for me, eating healthy is so important because our diet plays a very big part in our immunity. We all have different rules where we live. We are all living in different countries. You may be watching this and you're living somewhere else, but we have some of the basic guidance are, okay, to look after yourself, wash your hands, wear a mask. So, we do that. But there are other things that we can do that will look after our immunity. And our diet plays a huge part. So some things are outside our control. We cannot change those, but many things are actually in our control. And one of the things that is in our control is the foods we're putting in. So about 70% of our immune cells are actually in our digestive systems. So if we look after our digestive system, we have so much more of a better chance of being healthy. If we think about the foods we're having, the drinks we're having as well, we think about the nutrition we're putting in the body, rather than depleting the body. There are times where people are having a lot of processed packaged foods because it's so convenient to be having these foods, but these foods tend to be high in sugar, they tend to be high in fat or salt. And that's not really giving you the nutrition that you need. I know there's many foods there that are quite depleted, but what happens is when the manufacturers are making the foods, they enrich them, they add nutrients into them to, encourage you to buy them. But what I would say is, can you begin to think about real whole foods closest to their natural state? It could be looking at fruits, it could be looking at vegetables, or looking at whole grains. Just thinking about nutrients that your body needs. So some simple examples are like, I want to share practical examples here.
Yes.
I don't want to be talking about sort of theory. How about making yourself a smoothie? If you make yourself a smoothie, you could make yourself like an immune boosting smoothie in which you've got oranges, in which you might have, a little bit of lemon, or you could have some pineapple in it. And these have got immune boosting nutrients in them. They've got antioxidants, they've got vitamin C in them. And then why not add in some ginger or add in some turmeric or cinnamon? They again have good therapeutical properties to them as well. So, you could have some which are anti-inflammatory, like cinnamon does have those properties to it. Turmeric has the active ingredient called curcumin. It has been researched, so many benefits to having this. So if you make a smoothie with oranges or some lemon or pineapple in it, you throw in a little bit of ginger, you put in some turmeric, you put in some cinnamon, and you blend it, and just put a little bit of coconut milk as well, and black pepper. So curcumin is better absorbed in the body if you've got fat in it. So that's why I add in a little bit of coconut milk, and then add in some black pepper as well. It makes it easier for the body to digest it. So you could have a smoothie. And let's say if you don't like smoothies, how about having a soup? And in the soup, you are using tomatoes, you're using ginger, you're using garlic, you're using onions. Again, these are helping to boost your immunity. So our foods have got so many natural properties in them. So if you begin to think about having our foods as one of our first points of defense, our immune system can naturally begin to fight disease. But of course, we need other things as well. But our immune system needs to be supported with the foods we're eating, not to be depleted by having the junk or the processed foods.
Okay, thank you. That's really, really clear and informative. A question that I wanted to ask is that I'm just going to talk about my experience. So I come from South Africa, and I was raised with having a plate looking like rice with curry and just a little bit of salad.
Mm.
And when I moved to the UK, the 5 fruit and veg came out, and that was a whole new concept to me. So how does one go about changing their mindset? You know, because if one has been brought up with that curry and rice and a bit of salad, because salad was something that was never a starter. It was always on your plate just to, just as that side that was there.
Mhm.
And I know going through my own process with you, that has been something really hard to crack, and I have cracked it.
Mm.
But for
Correct.
people that come from different ethnic backgrounds, it's really hard to see that, because we I cook in a very Indian kind of cultural way.
Mm.
So obviously that's the way I've always seen, and that's the way my plate has looked. So just a little bit of advice from you is, how do you break that mindset? Because obviously we're not getting enough protein and all sorts of the right portions of veg and fruit and whatever it is that we need in a meal. And my consequence of that was snacking afterwards, whatever that might have been, whether it was crisps or chocolate or something like that. And you pointed me in the right direction. So I just want to get a little bit of advice from you on how you would approach that with someone.
So always begin. So Yadiksha, you're doing my membership program. So, in the program, either the membership program or even in the one-to-one program, the first thing I always do is I ask you to think about, why do you want to get healthier? And it's really important that you begin to think about why you want to get healthier. Because if you're not clear on your why, what might happen is you just keep going around in circles. I give this example often is, you can get into your car and just say, I'm going to drive up north somewhere. And you're, on the motorway, just going up north, but you haven't put in an exact destination. You won't know where you're getting unless you put in an exact destination. Similarly, on your health journey, what's really important is, you begin to identify, why do you want to get healthier? What is your driving force to getting healthier? And then you work from that. So it's almost like going to the starting point and saying, okay, where are you right now? And where do you want to be? And there is this bridge that takes you from where you are to where you need to be. But if you don't identify where you are right now, you cannot get where you want to be. And that's one thing that most people are missing when they're doing it on their own. Because what most people do when they're doing their own wellness programs, or they go on these crazy diets, they think, just tell me what to do. And I'm just going to get onto this side of the bridge, and I'm just going to start doing it. But I always say, think about where you are right now and what's important to you. So, I want my clients, my members, not to just be thinking about losing weight or looking good. Yes, these are important, but I want also you to be thinking about, where do you want to be 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, depending on your age, from today. Because it's not about just the looks. It's not just about the physical where you are. It's about, your mental state of mind, your mental wellness. It's about your energy. It's about your immunity. Do you want to age gracefully? So I know it's a bit of a long answer, but I have to explain it this way. But
No, it's beautiful. Go ahead.
yeah, so if we just look firstly at where we are and where we want to be. So using my own example, was I had hit my lowest point of immunity. Walking was something that I couldn't do. I was sick constantly. I was on antibiotics. And I had been, to a point, just got to a point where I just didn't know if I would get better. So for me, my lowest point was not knowing if I would get better. And it was taking that and saying, okay, I need to improve my immunity. I want to age healthily. I want to be there with energy for my children when they come back from school. I don't want to be sleeping through the afternoon, because I was very young, in my 30s, I needed to sleep because I was constantly tired. So it was looking at many reasons. And then from there, it was looking at, what do I now need to be doing? And when we look at where we are and where we want to be, then we think, okay, in order to get to where we want to be, what do we need to be doing? And that's when we look at your goals and then align and match those goals to look at what your plate should be like. You know, what foods should you be having on your plate? And the plate should be a very balanced plate. In the program, I do encourage that everyone thinks about having a variety of foods. And you know, one thing that in media and, you know, in the press and in articles and magazines that is often shared is, are you getting enough protein? Do you want to buy a protein shake? But are we getting enough vegetables? I think I might be one of the few people saying, are we getting enough vegetables? Because nobody seems to be promoting vegetables as much. Vegetables are nutrient-dense foods. We don't even need to count calories. If you're having lots of vegetables, you don't need to count calories. You're in the program and you know you can have an unlimited amount of vegetables because they are good for you. But then at the same time, you're not only going to be eating vegetables, you also need to be having healthy fats. To lose weight, to get healthier, you know, we need healthy fats. They're needed for our hormones. They're needed for many functions in the body, for vitamin D. We need fat in our diet. We need healthy proteins as well at the same time. So, you know, we're making sure we get healthy proteins and a mix of vegetarian and non-vegetarian proteins. So working with people from different backgrounds, you know, some people might be vegan, some might be vegetarian, non-vegetarian, but can you get also a mix of different proteins, not forgetting our nuts, our seeds, our fruits, and then our whole grains are also important. We don't need to give up our whole grains. Similarly to you, I'm from an Indian background and people think, you know, I need to stop eating rice. I need to stop eating roti to lose weight or to get healthier. You don't need to. You just need to find the place for it on your diet. And as you mentioned, you know, we're used to first putting into our plate the rice or the roti, and then we think we fill the whole plate up and there's very little space for everything else. You know, I want you to think about balancing the plate out and putting foods on it according to what your own health goals are as well. So that's why it's really important to look at your goals and then looking at where you want to be and then thinking, I need to align that. But food is one aspect of it, but we've also got to consider lifestyle and mindset too.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's leading up to my next question is that, you know, first we have to determine the goal. And that is something that's really important because it is a waking up. It's a point where we wake up. And with all that's going on, you know, we say healthily. And I'd really like you to define healthy because what's healthy to me may not be healthy to somebody else. And of course, everybody's on their own journey. But I think, you know, a lot of people say, I eat healthily. And when I started to say that, and then when I joined your program, my healthy was totally, you know, not healthy at all in terms of what I was doing to kind of serve my body and nourish my body, to get that energy and to be able to just be more flexible, you know. So how would you define healthy? Because everybody has their own definition and perception of it, and that's okay. But in terms of wanting to be healthy, have a good immune system, and, you know, you mentioned lifestyle. And I'm a big believer, you know, that we need to take all areas with lifestyle, eating healthy, having balance, and stress plays a major part in our lives as well as the emotional eating, the comfort eating, all of those things. So I'd like to firstly ask you is, you know, what does healthy mean? And what should each individual take from that?
I think we are all on our own unique journey. We should not be comparing ourselves to anybody else because we're so different in our lifestyles, in our own personal preferences, what we want to be eating, what we enjoy eating, what we even have the time for as well. You know, that's why it is never a good idea for anybody to ever compare themselves to anybody else. I have been working with so many people, and over 9 years, but nobody ever has the same exact diet, because everybody is unique. Everybody has their own life. Everybody has their own, likes and dislikes. So what we've got to do is to find something that fits into your life, and something that you can manage to do, and not feel guilt tripped into, I'm not doing it properly because, so and so's done so much more than me. It's all about balance, and we're all at a different point as well on our journey. So we've got to look at, our starting point, and where we are, and also looking at, what can we do right now. So, some people are able to invest more time and energy right now, and some are able to do less. So it's always about just looking at your own circumstances and seeing what you're able to do. So healthy for each person is so different. For some, it might mean, exercising, and they've now been able to build their strength and their stamina and their fitness, and they're building muscle definition as well. And for them, that's what they're working on at this point. Whereas for others, on their health journey in terms of their activity, it might be just walking, that's where they are. And both people are healthy, but they're just at different points and different abilities as well, because the person who's walking may have a existing health condition. That means that they cannot do too much, but that doesn't mean that they're unhealthy. They're doing what they can. And I think kindness to self is really important in this health journey, because we stop comparing ourselves, and we just, are accepting and acknowledging where we are, and also saying, what little can I do every day, rather than pushing ourselves and forcing ourselves to do something. Just saying, how can I do just a little bit every day to improve from what I was doing yesterday? And then bringing in consistency as well. Some people, for me, as a coach, I feel some of my clients are very healthy because, they started off maybe with having 2 teaspoons of sugar, and now they're down to 1 teaspoon of sugar. That is healthy. And some have managed to come off the sugar, and they are healthy as well. But it doesn't mean that the person having 1 teaspoon is not healthy. They are on their own specific journey, and they are, getting healthier, and they will make changes over time as well.
Amazing. That's something that I had to work with for myself, because I just thought I wasn't healthy enough. And that was a big one for me. And I think it's big for everyone, because it's kind of like, with all the media out there, and with everything going on, we do strive. We strive for the best, but we have to actually look at our bodies and what we can actually achieve in terms of our mindsets, our lifestyle, and things like that. So thank you for that. It was a very, very good answer to my question in terms of understanding. And another thing I want to touch on is that something that really stayed with me, and as I'm doing your program, there's things that are staying with me that I really wanted to bring this out to everyone and to share. And I actually titled this "Too Busy to Be Healthy." And you might have gotten a few responses from me saying, I'm so busy, I don't have time. And you would constantly say to me, just make a smoothie, or just do this, or just do that. And you always have a lovely response saying that, okay, try this, try that, try this, try that. And eventually something did work for me. So now I do make the time. But yes, I want to touch on, why is eating mindfully so important, and what are the impacts on that? Because now, especially in London, especially around the world, mindfulness has come about. And I want to relate this to eating. So why is it so important? What are the benefits?
I think one thing that happens is we're living such fast-paced lives. We're living and we just are rushing from one thing on our list to another thing on the list, and we don't have time to plan our meals. We don't have time to prepare our meals. And even if we've prepared something and we've spent some time putting this meal together, we don't actually sit down to eat it. We might be multitasking. We might be eating while walking. We might be eating when commuting or driving. We might be eating when on the computer and working, or watching something. How often are we actually just sitting and eating? You know, either eating on our own or eating with our families or friends, but just sitting and tasting the food for what it is. You know, noticing the food firstly. Like, you know, it's not just about the taste of the food, but before you eat the food, thinking about where has this food come from? You know, what's the journey, whether it's an apple or a pear, you know, or even a carrot, whatever you're eating, just thinking, what's the journey this food has made to come to my plate? You know, slowing down to appreciate the textures, the aromas, the flavors of this food as well, and then enjoying the food. So it's really about slowing down and eating mindfully. It's chewing the food. I find when I speak often to people I work with, I'll say, so what did you eat yesterday? And they'll say, I don't know. How much did you eat? I don't know. Because it was just happening automatically. Most of the things we're doing actually are happening automatically. You know, there's two parts of our brain that are functioning. There's the automatic side, and then like there's the intentional, the conscious side as well. So most of the decisions we're making are automatic. And if we get used to eating in front of our laptop or in front of the TV, you know, we just put our food in our plate without even remembering what it is, and we're eating, and we end up overeating. We don't notice, you know, are we even satisfied? We're eating larger portions than we need to. So I emphasize, rather than counting calories, is, can you just look at your plate? Can you think about, is this a well-balanced plate? Because you don't need to count calories. Yes, calories are important, but you don't need to count calories. You just begin to think of, you know, what's on this plate? Does it have, you know, my vegetables? Does it have my protein, my fats, my grains? Does it have, you know, all these foods? And then can I think about slowing down and chewing this food rather than just eating it too quickly? So when we begin to slow down, we connect with our experience of eating rather than just eating mindlessly, which is we don't even know what we've eaten. And then when we begin to think about, why am I bloated, or why am I overweight, or, you know, why am I not feeling good about myself? We don't know, because we can't remember what we've eaten. But when we eat mindfully, we feel satisfied, we feel connected to our body, we feel, you know, connected with the foods we're eating as well. So mindfulness is really important with the foods we're eating, but also with our, you know, calming down our mind as well. So I encourage not just eating mindfully, but also doing meditation, about being present in this moment. It comes together. You know, getting healthy is not just the foods we eat. It's not just about what we're drinking. It's not just about the exercise or the walking, but it's also thinking about the sleep. It's thinking about, you know, how stressed we are and what we can be doing to feel calmer within ourselves as well.
Yeah, I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Yes, so it is a journey, and I think that somehow, somewhere, we've got to stop, and we've got to be able to think about, okay, so if I want a healthy mind or a healthy life, I'm going to be able to adjust, you know, my whole way of being, because it's not just about eating and too, you know, too busy to be healthy. It's about you know, from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, and there's a lot of mindfulness in it as well. So, you know, thank you for bringing that in terms of eating healthily. So the next thing I'd like to ask you is, and I know that you always motivating people, and the one thing I like that did stay with me as well is that some people find it hard to exercise. And I love that you said that, okay, so if you are not motivated to exercise, can you just do 3 minutes? And I found that was really something I could do. at the beginning, you know, especially if I've got a certain time to do, you know, certain things, and then I'm out of the house. And I just found that so motivating. So in terms of, you know, people having these busy lifestyles, how would you ask them to perhaps start? Because I know for me, it was a gradual thing of breaking it down. You know, first I had to go out and get the healthy food, and then I have to have time to make it. And now in terms of exercise, I'm like, okay, I can do 3 minutes. That's doable. And then kind of shifting. So how do you work with people that are so busy, and you know, they say they can't, and then eventually you kind of crack them and they can?
I think it comes down to priorities, and that's why the why is so important, because you know, we can help ourselves right now before we get really sick. And I was not like very, very sick, but I was very sick. I was not like
Mhm.
extremely, you know, I needed surgery. I needed, you know, I was getting to that point where I would be dependent on medication for the rest of my life. So when I speak to, you know, clients, when I speak to members, what I always say is, you don't want to be forced into a situation where all you have to do then is think about your health. Why not just do what you can right now to begin to improve your own health? And sometimes we don't have much time. And I really understand when people come to me and they'll say, I don't have much time. The meditation practices that I do in the program are about 10, sometimes maybe 13 or 15 minutes, but I try and keep them close to 10 minutes. But occasionally a member might say to me, 10 minutes is even really difficult for me. Can you do something for 5 minutes? And I understand where she's coming from, because when I wake up in the morning, it's about emptying the dishwasher and getting the breakfast ready for the children, and, you know, thinking about sort of organizing myself and then taking the dog for a walk, and the list goes on. So I know when somebody says to me, I don't have much time, because I'm in exactly the same place where the house is got to be looked after, the children got to be looked after as well. And, you know, we play many roles, especially as women, we play many, many roles. You know, we might have our home role, we have our family role as the mother, or, you know, the caretaker or the wife. We have the role as our professional self as well. So what we've got to do is to find where we can squeeze in a little bit. So even if somebody starts with just doing like a short breathing exercise, you know, which would, like, if I did it right now, all I'd say is, like, just close your eyes and just be in this moment right now. You know, if you're watching this, and just take a few breaths in and take a few breaths out. And just starting the day like that means you're present in the moment. It doesn't need to be 10 minutes or 30 minutes of meditation. The same with breakfast. It doesn't need to be this beautifully prepared breakfast. You know, make yourself a smoothie, and you can prepare some of the ingredients the night before, you know, and you just put them in your blender. And in the morning, all you need to do is add in your coconut water or your milk. So, you know, all the ingredients are ready. So all you do in the morning is blend it. So if we make it a priority, if your health is a priority, one thing I can promise is you can do it, because I'll show you shortcuts to doing it. I understand where you are, because we all can fit in, you know, whether it's 3 minutes. If you're going to make toast, which is, yeah, toast is fine to have for breakfast, but toast, most people who are having toast for breakfast are having it because it's convenient and it's easy, not because they love the taste of toast. You begin to love it because you just get used to it. But you're having, you know, toast with some butter or jam or some nut butter just because it's easy to have. But it takes the same amount of time for you to even make, you know, your porridge, or it can take the same amount of time to make your smoothie, or make your overnight oats the night before, and or make them on a Sunday, and you can have them on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we can always fit it in. For food, we can always fit it in. We don't need to start making freshly prepared meals. Sometimes there is pressure because we feel we can't be having refrigerated meals, we can't be having frozen meals. But if you make the food yourself and you put it in the fridge or the freezer, that's absolutely fine to have. I encourage you to be practical rather than putting so much pressure on yourself that you think I have to start from scratch and then you're not able to do it. So do as much as you can and just fit it in, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know, if anybody says I don't have time, I would honestly say, tell me your schedule and let's go through your schedule, and I'm going to show you what you can do, because I can find a few things you can do. And then once you begin to do that, then there will be a little bit more time opening up for you. You know, same as walking and exercise, you know, just starting with a few minutes, and then you get more time and you enjoy it. When you enjoy it, you want to do it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds really doable. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So yes, now I want to take this back. I want to take this back home to South Africa, because I know living in a household, and to be honest, my gran was a cook and she still is. And sometimes you'd wake up in the morning and there would be a hot pot of food on the stove. And it would be really hard not to say, I mean, it would be really hard to not have it, because that smell has reached the fifth or the sixth neighbor in the neighborhood, you know? So I guess it's mindset, but then how do you, you know, divert from that? Because
Yeah. So you don't
there's,
need to. So let's say if your gran, or you know, your mom, or you're going to visit somebody and they've made something for you, and you end up having it once or twice a week, that's absolutely fine for you to be having. But you've got to ask yourself, what happens to me if I'm having it every day? But more importantly, what's happening to gran if she's having it every day as well, right? So just I mean, it's just saying I'll have it and I enjoy it totally guilt-free. And when I have it, I like the taste of it. I eat it mindfully. You know, I enjoy the flavors of the foods I'm eating. But then just saying, you know, I won't have it every day. And just also explaining to our families that, you know, I'm working towards these bigger goals. Can you please support me? And sometimes it's just asking for help and saying, you know, can you support me, rather than trying to, you know, distract me from what I'm trying to do. And often when we say that with our right intentions, especially if we're saying it, you know, I'm trying to get healthier because I'm concerned about my own health, and also explaining to our own families, you know, if you make this and have this every day, it's not good for you. Why don't we find a balance? We have this a few times a week, and the rest of the time we find other things we can have which are a little bit healthier as well. So there is this balance, and you're not, you know, giving up on your traditional foods, or you know what's the family's been having, but you're also encouraging your own family to have the right foods as well.
brilliant, thank you. So tell me more about your program and how you help people, because I'm sure there's people out there that, you know, perhaps just need that partner, that accountability partner, or that coach that is going to be there to guide them and to help them, you know, overcome certain things, like perhaps they're not exercising enough, or they don't have a plate that is as balanced. So how do you do that? How can people reach you? And of course, we're going to post on this live as well. So just tell us a little bit about how people can actually work with you and reach you.
So I would say the first thing to do is to do my free course. Honestly, the first thing, I won't even say do my paid course first. I think the first thing would probably that help you is just to get an idea of what I'm doing, because maybe you don't like my style, because my style is very much of working at your own pace, working gradually. It's not a forced program. It's not, you've got to get it done in 1 month. Like you, Diksha, you realize that I'm not saying you've got to achieve all this and what have you done in 1 month and why have you not done all this in 1 month? Because I understand everyone has so many commitments, and if I put pressure, it's not going to help. So what I like to do is to say, these are your goals. Let me encourage you. Let me nudge you. Let me help you move forward. You're not going to be stuck, but I don't want it to be something that's forced and that you hate doing. So the first thing, if you're looking to get started, is to understand why quick fix diets don't work. And I really think this is important, because this is what so many people make the mistake of doing, is they will go and do a calorie counting diet, or they'll buy protein replacement shakes or meal replacement shakes or bars, or they'll be doing, you know, something else that's just sort of trying to get them there quicker. But they realize they can't eat their traditional foods, they can't eat out, they can't eat the same meals as their family, they're having to cook separate meals. So I want you to firstly understand why dieting is not the right way. I want you to think about creating this new lifestyle and understanding what your why is. So my free course, if I can share the link, is that fine? So it's
Yeah, cool.
just sujathadin.com/free course. And in the free course, you know, you'll understand why diets don't work. And then I want you to understand your cravings and where the cravings are coming from, because we crave for foods. When I was at my lowest point in health, you know, I used to crave for like donuts, and I'd be craving for soft drinks and ice cream, and I needed sugar in my tea, and I need my fried foods as well. So understand where these cravings are coming from. There is an imbalance. And then also learn 10 things that you can do to get healthy. So the free course is a 5-day course with short videos to guide you. And then after the free course, come and join me in my membership program. Yadiksha's in my membership program. My membership program is an amazing program. It's where I can teach you step by step what to do. You learn through my coaching videos. You have an online community. You ask me questions, and you get my response. You can never ask too many questions. I think the more questions you ask, the better it is, because it means you're improving and you're getting that understanding. So members share what they do, they share what they're eating in their meals. And then another option is, if you are not somebody who likes to work in a group, I also do one-to-one coaching. So that's a different option as well. But the free course would be the best thing to start with, I'd say.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yes, I know, and I'm just talking from your membership program, is the thing that really helped me was the people in the group putting their pictures of their plates. And that really helped me crack, you know, because it was really hard for me to take away that rice or that curry. And then when I saw that, and I saw the salad, and I saw the veg and whatever else was on that plate, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And it became so much easier. So it definitely is something that has helped me. And I really wanted to bring this out into my community. You're welcome. And thank you for your time today. I think we're going to end here.
And we just touched on something that's so important, that Yadiksha, that is so important right now, is community. Because of our current circumstances, we don't know how long we're going to be in that having even an online community to motivate and inspire us is really, really powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's super amazing. And the fact that you're active on there, and it's just not, you know, everybody posting food. Yeah, so she guides you, and it's really, really great to be, you know, supported. Thank you very much for being here and for your time. And we definitely will do a part 2 to answer any questions or anything that comes about. But please feel free to post, or I will post your details on how people can contact you. It's been really good, really informative, and thank you for just being here today.
Thank you so much. It's a real privilege. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.